What's up guys, Alec here. If you're new to this channel, welcome. Today I want to go over something that a lot of people have confusion with when first starting out with Amazon FBA and the whole shipping process. It can be confusing, and I was, and like everyone else is in the beginning when you're first starting out, there's a lot to think about. There's a lot that you're going to get asked from your suppliers. A lot of shipping terms, um, FOB, DDP, or EXW, and you're kind of confused in the beginning. You don't know what to pick and what to do. So the main goal of this video is to really help you guys simplify the shipping process and kind of clarify all the confusing terms that you're going to get presented with. So without further ado, I'm going to get into this video. I made a document here to kind of outline everything. So basically, how to ship your inventory into the Amazon FBA warehouse. So you went through the whole process. You picked out your items from Alibaba. They're manufactured and they are ready to ship, ready to come into the Amazon warehouse. It was usually around 20 to 25 days, and now it's ready to make its journey to the United States. That's where I am, or wherever you're from, into the warehouse. So the first thing that I'm going to explain are a few terms here. EXW is Ex-Works. That's what it stands for. And basically that is the bottom of the line term that you're going to hear. So once your order is fully complete by your supplier, your inventory sits in their warehouse, and you as the customer assumes 100% responsibility to get your shipment from the port all the way to the Amazon warehouse. They do not touch anything. So you pay your supplier for your goods, and they basically open the doors, leave it outside, and you have to take care of everything. So a freight forwarder is usually used in this case. It can be done, but in my opinion, it's the worst way to go about this. It's not recommended, and all the responsibility is on you. So I would not go that route. It's really, you're left with all the responsibility, and if anything happens, it's really all on you. So the second term is FOB, and what this stands for is freight on board. So this is a much better route to go, but I'll explain in a minute. So basically, once your order is completed by your supplier will take your inventory to the port, either the sea or airport, and then it's your responsibility to get the shipment from your domestic port to an Amazon warehouse. So basically what that means is your supplier has your shipment, it's ready to go, and they're going to take it and ship it either by the air or sea, and it's going to land at a port, whether the air or sea port, like I just said, and it's just going to be sitting there. So now at that point, it's your responsibility to get the goods from that point at the port into the Amazon warehouse. And a freight forwarder needs to be used for this. There are a whole bunch of freight forwarders you could use. If you Google that, you could search around and find there's a lot of good ones. I think there's one called 4Trade or something like that. Just Google it and you'll find some good ones. So basically with FOB, 50% of the responsibility is on you as the customer. So the supplier in China takes care of most of everything, 50% of it, so they're going to get it all the way to your port. It's going to land in the United States. That's where I am, so it's going to land at the port, and then you have to take it into the Amazon warehouse. Your freight forwarder is going to take care of all the logistics with that, and they're going to kind of get that over however they do with the United States cargo company to get that into the warehouse. So that is a good second alternative, but the best and what I highly recommend when you're first starting out on Amazon FBA is DDP. And what does that mean? That just means duties and all duties and taxes paid. So once your order is complete by a supplier, your supplier will assume full responsibility to get your shipment from their warehouse all the way into Amazon, basically door to door. I fully feel like this is the 100% best route to go as a new Amazon seller. And the reason being is when you're first starting out, you have a lot to deal with. It's a big learning curve in the beginning, but like anything, as you go through it, it'll become easier. But you don't really want to have the full responsibility of getting your shipment into the Amazon warehouse. And even with a freight forwarder, things can still be a little confusing. So if you do DDP, it's usually a little bit more expensive. And if you have a small night item, it's not really a problem. It might only be $1 or $2 more on top of the shipping. So it might only be like $1 or $2 more to on top of your item to get it into the Amazon warehouse. And in my opinion, it's 100% worth it. Not only because of speed, um, because usually air is a lot quicker than sea. You can go air or sea, and my opinion is air. The only ways suggest going sea is if you're into Amazon a few months and you know your supply chain, you know how many products and units you're going to need for X amount of days, 30 to 90 days. So you can kind of forecast ahead and you know you're going to need, okay, you're going to need 1,500, 2,000 units within that, 90-day period. So you could kind of pre-plan and forecast, okay, I know I'm going to have to order X amount and you could save by doing this C route. And then you could hire a freight forwarder at that point. But in the beginning, like I just said, you're probably watching this video, you're a beginner. I just want to simplify this for you. Here are the three terms that want to get familiar with. But the best one is DDP, that's door to door. You don't touch anything. There are a lot of things to deal with. Your freight forwarder usually deals with that can be confusing, like import taxes, IFS, bonds, these things that you're going to hear. So there are a lot of these terms you're going to hear that could really confuse you, but I really want to just help you guys and show you guys kind of my opinion and my route as a beginner, and when I first started, what I started with, and I just want to help you guys. So do DDP. I highly recommend it. Zero responsibility is on you. It's much quicker. Door to door, you don't deal with anything. So there's two ways, like I just said. There's by air and by sea. Air is usually 4 to 7 days, depending on what carrier they use. Typically, DHL is the best air carrier to use. And then there is FedEx, which is also just as good. And then there is UPS. So UPS is slightly slower. Might be closer to 7 days, but is also alright as well. I think it's a little bit cheaper with UPS, but you don't really have to worry about that. You just have to know air or sea, what you're going to do. And then sea is usually 25 to 30 days. That's the longest. It's going to be a little bit cheaper with sea, obviously, because you're not shipping by air. So those are the two ways. You can either go air or sea. My opinion is air in the beginning when you're starting out. The whole key to this business is to get your inventory quick, because you don't want inventory sitting in the Amazon warehouse for too long. You just want to be able to restock quick and replenish your goods. So if you plan this properly, you could have inventory produced and into Amazon within about 25 to 30 days. That's usually typical for a common product, small and lightweight. But if you have to use sea and you want to save a little bit of money, you can go ahead and do that. That's no problem. But just take into consideration that you're going to need a freight forwarder if you use FOB or EXW, because those are just they're a little more complex. You're going to need the freight forwarder, and more of the responsibility is on you rather than DDP door to door. So just as an example, if your profit for your item is $10 and you're selling 1,000 units per month, that's $10,000 profit. If you were doing sea. So if you were doing air, let's say the profit per unit is going to be like $8. So if you were doing if you have an $8 profit and you were doing air, per month would be $8,000. So from 8,000 to 10,000, as at least you still have your units coming in and you're restocking. And whereas a month where you were going by sea and your units are in the middle of the ocean and you're not making any money, I think air is much better, because you just made $8,000 in a month that you would have made $0 because you don't have any inventory in stock. So use air and DDP. That's the best, easiest way to go about this. Also, another little tip that a lot of people use and I've used in the past is you could split up your shipment. You can ask your supplier to ship, let's say it's 500 units, 250 by air, 250 by sea. So you're not spending the maximum amount, but you're still getting the restocked 250 units into Amazon as soon as possible. So they'll get them there within a few days, 5 to 7 days, and you could start selling. If you're brand new, your list with a listing, it'll be up and start to take sales, and you'll start to get rolling on Amazon rather than waiting 30 days to be produced and another 30 days. That's 90 days to. I'm sorry, that's 60 days to have your items into Amazon. So go by air in the beginning until you kind of get the feeling for this whole process. When you get comfortable, then you can kind of use a freight forwarder and go by sea when you have your inventory forecasted. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I wanted to help you simplify this process and give you my knowledge and bring you the best value. So if you guys found this video helpful, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave a comment if you have any questions. And I'll see you guys in the next video.